What's going on, guys? So this is going to be a very quick review for the new Blink-182 album, One More Time. I know this might seem like an odd video for me because I've never really reviewed music on the channel at all or even talked about it that much other than in the live streams. And I'm much more particularly a fan of heavier music like metal and deathcore and all that kind of stuff. But I do have a very soft spot in my heart for pop punk, particularly Blink-182. And I'm a really big fan of Tom DeLonge's music outside of it, too. I really like Boxcar Racer and Angels and Airwaves. So this album was kind of a big deal because it was a reunion of, the traditional members of the band, the first album with Tom since 2011 with Neighborhoods. And I actually really, really like Neighborhoods, too. I think it's a little bit underrated, perhaps, in the Blink discography, but it is an acquired taste. Like, it's very different than their earlier stuff, but I really enjoy it. I also thought the Matt Skiba era with Blink, the two albums they did, I thought they were okay. Like, California, I liked all right. I thought 9 was a lot better. I thought they were going in a decent direction there, but traditionally, this is the lineup that you want. You want Tom and Mark together, Travis on drums. Like, this is the lineup that you want. And this album really had a lot to live up to because it'd been so long since the three of them made an album together. Also, the Untitled album, which I think most people, myself included, would consider their best, came out 20 goddamn years ago. So it's been a long time. But that also kind of plays into what this album is, because this album very much is kind of like a nostalgic look back at things. And I don't think it's them trying to sound like their earlier stuff, because I think that was kind of the problem with California. I think Mark was trying like way too hard to recapture the earlier sound. I think this is really a solid, just kind of amalgamation of everything that they've done together, and just like a really solid kind of look back at things, but not from like a we wish we were still our younger selves kind of way, but in just like, look at everything that got us here. Look at everything that brought us to this point. Like, all these things happen, all of these tragedies happen, all of this pain, all of this heartache. I mean, like the band members themselves, Travis had a plane crash, Mark recovered from cancer, Tom just went through a divorce. Like, there's all these things that they've been through. And like the one thread line through everything is their music and their lyrics and, their passion for creating this kind of stuff. And seeing that passion kind of come out in the album, I thought was really, really impressive. Now, I don't think it's a perfect album or anything, but I really, really do enjoy it. And the first thing that stood out to me was just how energetic it was. There's so much energy to this album. It's crazy. Like, I'll just kind of go through the track list and kind of give you guys a general idea about what I thought, and then also just kind of talk about what it means to me. But Anthem Part 3, the very first song, that blew me the fuck away. Like, they released some singles before this album came out, and the only ones I really, really loved were One More Time, which is amazing, and More Than You Know. Edging, I just don't, it's just not, it might be the only skippable track on the album for me. And Dance With Me, I think, is fun. I don't think it's a great song, but I think it's really fun. But Anthem Part 3 just blew me the fuck away. This was a great, amazing opener. I'm kind of glad that they saved it for the album, because I hadn't listened to it until I listened to the entire album by itself. And I love what they were able to do with this song. Tom, somehow, I mean, I know there's a lot of like auto-tune and stuff, like I don't give a shit about that, but Tom was literally able to like channel his Dude Ranch energy for this song and Dance With Me on the verses. Like, I don't know how he did it. I legitimately don't know how he did it. Like, he hasn't sounded like this like since fucking like Dude Ranch. It's crazy. Like the pitch that he was able to hit, whether it's all studio production or whatever, it's just amazing to me that Tom was able to kind of like go back in time and really just push out this energy of that sound. And with that, I also do want to say that I like the variety of the vocal ranges that he does in this album, because he does some songs like Anthem Part 3 and Dance With Me that definitely go back to like Dude Ranch era, but then he also has some songs like Hurt, which is definitely more of like the Angels and Airwaves kind of vibe. And I really like the variety with it also. So Anthem Part 3 might actually be my favorite song on the album. I love the lyrics too. I love the part with Mark where like the music dies out and he just screams. It's really, really good. Next, Dance With Me and Fell in Love. I think both of these songs are really fun, just kind of poppy songs. I don't think they're like the best Blink has ever done anything like that, but they're really fun to listen to. Terrified, amazing. Apparently this was the unreleased Boxcar Racer song that they were going to do. This is probably my second favorite song on the album. I love it. It reminds me of Tiny Voices from Boxcar Racer. I think Tom sounds incredible on it. It's really good. One More Time, again, one of my favorite songs on the album. More Than You Know, I really like. Turn This Off is like a fast, silly, funny song. When We Were Young is another one that I really, really enjoy that just gave me like a nostalgic feeling and just made me want to reflect on life. You Don't Know What You've Got is another great song, basically about Mark's cancer and the things that he was going through at the time. There's some really hard-hitting lyrics in here that I think that are very impressive and probably were hard to write. Blink Wave, to me, I don't know if anyone else feels this, but it's kind of the closest towards Neighborhoods and that kind of vibe that they did. Bad News, I like it a lot. I kind of wish it was more of like a slower song. And actually what I want to say is that I'm surprised that there's not more slower songs on the album. A lot of it's very fast. A lot of it is, like traditional pop punk. And I'm a little bit surprised because really One More Time is the only slow song on the album. I mean, you could say that Childhood is kind of slower, but really I think One More Time is like the only slow song. So I was actually surprised. And I'd say if I had any kind of criticism for the album, I would say I wish it had like another slower song, but that's just me. Hurt is really good. Like I said, that's kind of like your closest Angels and Airwaves song. Turpentine is fantastic. Fuck Face is another fun, like fast song. And then it ends with Other Side and Childhood. And Childhood has some amazing lyrics. Again, I wish the song was a little bit slower, but I really love what it has to say. I love the message that it puts out, and it really just made you reflect on things. And that's the thing I want to say about, I made sure that I wanted to listen to this album very intently when I first listened to it. I didn't want it to be in the background. So I got up this morning, I got my double espresso coffee, and I went for a long drive on the back roads. And, I was driving past a lot of places that I used to spend a lot of time. I drove past, one of my old apartments that I used to live in with friends. I drove past, roads that, ex-girlfriends lived on, or girls I was trying to date and never got to, lived on and stuff. I was remembering and I was reflecting on my youth, kind of just while I was driving around. That's kind of one of the better or shitty things about living in the same small town you grew up in, because everything's familiar and you have a memory with everywhere that you turn. I drove past the place that I filmed some of my movies in when I was younger and stuff, and just drove around all these places. And while listening to this, it was kind of surreal in a way, also with like how good Tom sounded. Like it sounded like an older album but with modern production. So it was a very surreal kind of feeling, and I'm not really sure what all these feelings mean, but I'm in my 30s now, and I feel like a lot of people my age, the millennial generation that grew up with Blink, we've all just kind of gone in crazy different directions. Some people settled down, had families. Other people got into drugs, and other people may not be with us today. Some people moved really, really far away you don't talk to anymore. And then I'm just kind of on here just making random YouTube videos all day long. So I don't really know what it all means, but every step that you took, every pain, every heartache, every moment that you didn't think you could go any further eventually led you to where you are right now. And that's kind of what this album feels like. If I could sum up what the album feels like, is it doesn't feel like it's retreading the past. It feels like it's just acknowledging the past and just saying like, look at all this crazy shit. And yet here we are, like we're still here. So that's kind of what it feels like to me. I really enjoyed it. I listened to it about 3 times now. I'll probably listen to it more as time goes on, as the day goes on. But I really, really enjoy it. It's too early to kind of rank it. It's not better than Untitled, in my opinion. That's their masterpiece. That's my favorite. I don't know where I would rank it now. I probably need to sit on it for like a month before I can really say that. But I think it's really good. I think if you're a Blink fan, you're going to love it. And yeah, those are my thoughts on it. So let me know what you guys think if you're into it. Again, sorry, this is kind of a random, different kind of video, but it was just on my mind and I wanted to talk about it. So thanks for watching, guys.